And welcome back to The Last Word, where Joe's taking photos of us.
I wish I'd got really important.
I think the video started a bit like the overlap, where there's like a behind the scenes scan on here. It's already started, Johnny. Go on, then over you.
It must be important. He took the hat off.
Hey, I'll keep my hat on.
It's cold.
So I'll keep mine on.
Right. Ready? 5 and 4, 3. Fucking hell. How I take your time, man.
I'm ready.
It's already started the video, man.
Yeah, I'm ready.
5,
People are watching
4,
already.
3, 2, 1. Bang. Well, that was absolutely fantastic. A Wednesday night, 5-0. Tonali being unbelievable. Nick Pope saving a penalty. Oh, it's finished here at St James's Park. Newcastle United 5, Crystal Palace 0, and this is The Last Word. And we are back here for The Last Word here on Newcastle Fans TV outside St James's Park. It has finished Newcastle United 5, Crystal Palace 0. And before we get started with the lineups, and we'll get Dave, Lee, and Joe's reaction to this fantastic win. Here's a letter. Oh, fuck it.
I'll carry on. He has me talking about match bingo.
Oh, fucked it.
Right, as Johnny gets his composure back, over 200,000 has been paid out to players so far by taking sports betting, football and bingo and combining them into one brilliant app. Make sure you get your bingo card for this weekend's game against Aston Villa. Click through the link in the description or scan the QR code on your screen. Remember, if you deposit £10, you get £20 back, so 30 quid to play with. And remember, bingo cards for this game, you buy 4 and you get 1 free.
And we're back, as I do, Johnny. Are you ready? Let's go.
Just get me.
Make sure you have a look at the QR code, which is on your screen, and the link in the description for the next match against Villa this weekend.
Should keep your hat on.
I know what's going
You
on.
can leave your hat on.
Do you want this?
And I knew
See you later. Yeah, so here at St James's Park, Newcastle United 5, Crystal Palace 0. That was a lovely introduction by Lee. Match bingo. make sure you click the link in the description. The QR code is, of course, on the screen as well. Team news. Joe, unchanged again. We were unchanged against Manchester United, unchanged against Leicester. You don't change a winning team, do you?
Is it broken? Nope. Do you fix it? Nope, not at all. Absolutely fantastic lineup, as per usual. That starting lineup at the minute, they're just coming out all guns blazing, and it feels like one of those where you finally everything, you know, when you get that perfect chemistry on FIFA, I feel like that's what Jason Tindall's found. He has found that perfect chemistry. This team, ever since the Carabao Cup win, it just feels like every match I go into now, there's nerves, because you feel like surely they can't do the same again, and they keep doing the same again. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant, and keeping Murphy on that right side, Barnes on that left side. Like, there's not much you can say other than it's not broken. Didn't fix it.
Exactly. And Lee, Crystal Palace, it's still a strong team, and people rightly were going, this is going to be a tough game. Eze, Mateta, good players. You've got Mark Gay, he, of course, was linked with Newcastle so much. And you've got to say, Lee, it is a strong team, but we just absolutely destroyed them for pretty much the whole game.
Got to say, we look back, by the way, for concussion. So Villa not Villa. I've got Villa in the mind already. So
He's messed it up. He's messed it up now.
Next one. But Palace are strong with pace on the full-backs, left and right, and left wing and right wing. And they've got a good record away from home. But at St James's Park, they were beaten 4-0 last season, beaten 5-0 here. They've got an awful record here. It's a bit similar, because we hate going to Selhurst Park. It's an awful place to get to. And, it's kind of like the roles are reversed. But I don't think you can change that lineup, and it's mental saying that, because Gordon's back and he still does not deserve to go in that lineup, which is mad considering the form of Harvey Barnes.
Who would have said that before he got sent off against Brighton? Mental, absolutely mental. But Dave, Newcastle started really, really well. Alexander Isak, he could have scored 3 or 4, but what a fantastic save from Dean Henderson after Jacob Murphy's played through down on the right hand side. Lovely cross, and Isak right-footed. Great save from Dean Henderson, and then just 2 minutes later, another fantastic cross, this time from Jacob Murphy after a lovely ball from Sandro Tonali. Trippier just puts it on a little plate for Murphy, and the header just over the crossbar hits the top of the net. The signs were there.
It was from the start. Battered from the start. I don't think they had anything to answer to us. Each time we got the ball, we attacked with confidence. Each left or right side. Palace played quite narrow, which kind of helped us out a little bit. Which gave Murphy a lot of room on that right side. When me and Joe were sat, you could actually see the whole pitch. And they were just too narrow, which give us the outside, give us far back the outside. Anybody faces us now, they know to shut off the outside.
Are you surprised how high Crystal Palace were?
Yes, because of the press. So Yeah, I do. We were just outbeat today. We outbeat them everywhere today. There was no answer from them at all.
There wasn't any answer.
I think the only shot they had on target was a penalty.
Exactly, and Joe, it was just a matter of when Newcastle can score. Can they get that first goal? Because that is a big moment, and you have to be honest. It was a poor through ball for Bruno standards. He had a little bit of space, and Palace clear it to an extent, but it does come back out on that right hand side. Little pass to Jacob Murphy. Fantastic strike, great shot. Sandro Tonali-esque against Brentford. 1-0 Newcastle. 2 questions for you, Joe. Did he mean it? And secondly, why do you want him to leave Newcastle at the end of the season when he plays like that?
I knew that was coming. I'll start with the first one, the easy one. Did he mean it? Of course he did.
70%.
Look at the way... no, it's not even 70%, 30%. All this that Sandro's going on about. I think Murphy, and it's not just ego, I think he looked at that and he thought, go on, let's have a crack. And it goes in. He's in that kind of confidence at the moment and that kind of form, which leads us on to answering your second question. 30 years old, that kind of confidence, that kind of form. How do you maintain it? If you don't know what Johnny's going on about, I have a video out on the channel. You can go back and have a look at that where I say we should cash in on Jacob Murphy. And when you see performances like that, when you're another team, maybe a European team who's struggling or such, you put in a nice 20 million bid for a player like that who's in that
20 million? He's seen the goals and assists this season.
19 contributions, hasn't
Really?
it?
Is that 20
When
million?
I look
worth?
at it the other
I
day,
get what
20
Joe's,
plus.
I get what you're saying. His stock value is the highest it's ever been.
Yep.
But you need another right winger in,
Yes.
and I think you can't sell him because that means you need 2.
Highest it's ever going to be as well.
Yeah, it will be. It will be.
His stock value will only decrease now.
We need a first team right winger, but you keep Jacob Murphy just
At least
for
a
the
squad
second.
player, especially with Europe.
Yeah, totally agree.
It's
You're not going to get much
interesting.
for a 30-year-old now these days.
It's interesting to see what happens. Let us know in the comments. But fantastic strike. Whether you want to say it's a shot across, let us know in the comments as well.
He means that.
I'll tell you what. If you think that was a shot by Jacob Murphy, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. But Lee, Newcastle were comfortable. It had to be a case of Palace doing something extraordinary or Newcastle making a mistake. Did Nick Pope really make a mistake for Palace's penalty? Because I've seen it again. I think it's incredibly soft.
It is soft. Nick Pope's probably had his best all-round game tonight, even though he wasn't tested much. Everything he's kicking was spot on, coming out, collecting crosses. He got whacked in the head a couple of times. Harsh. I've only ever seen that chance. I haven't seen all the goals back, but I have seen that. It's incredibly harsh. It's still a bit of a melee. I think Joelinton's in the sandwich in between them and
I think
me.
he gets a bit of the ball as well.
But do you know what? Do you know what? I was that confident with Newcastle's form, as even if we conceded that, I still felt Newcastle would go on and get the second and third. Normally I would say, that's the key point today. I don't think that was for change.
Dave, was that an obvious error by the referee?
It wasn't a penalty. They showed on the big screen where we were at, and there was nowhere near a penalty. To me, it was more of an impeding on Pope than what was a Pope impeding
What has the referee seen, or what has VAR seen to go?
Go and ask him.
What do you think? Is there any?
I don't know. I'm sorry. When we watched it, we were like, "How the hell was that a penalty? How the hell? If that was even given inside the box, then that to me is a foul on the keeper more than else.
Yeah,
it's a 50-50 ball.
We had the TV screen up to the top left of it, and when they come past, I feel like what the referee is given is there is a slight clash of Nick Pope. He clears a ball and he catches the defender with the arm there.
Well, then what's he supposed to do?
But for me, it's a total 50-50.
He's aerial.
Everyone's
He's aerial for a
together.
start, so how's he going to stop clattering him?
It's not a pen.
He's not on his feet as he's up in the air, so how's he going to stop? So to me, it's a goal, he's 50-50.
Yeah.
If he doesn't go for it, he'd get more help from us for not going for it than why they go for it.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, but Newcastle, look,
It's an awful penalty.
Nick Pope, it is an awful penalty, but it's an unbelievable penalty if Nick Pope dives the other way.
It is.
What's it dancing about?
Etche goes up and he stops twice on the run. He's waiting for Pope to move. Pope just stands his ground.
Do you know what it reminded me?
It just stood there and thought it's an
Yeah,
easy
yeah.
dive.
Yeah.
If any of us four stood there, and I'm little before you make the jump.
Fucking smart, mate.
What it reminded me of, it reminded me of Ivan Toney against Newcastle when he was playing for Brentford at the G-Tech, and he misses that first penalty because he's waiting for the goalkeeper to move, and Nick Pope, he moves a tiny bit, but not enough for a blatant error and a blatant choice in terms of where he's going to go to dive. And it's a good save because even though it's a poor penalty, those are the sort of penalties that you can be shown at as a bit of an idiot, really.
It was straight at him, wasn't it? There was it didn't hit the corners, wasn't it? It was just straight at him.
He did die, you say, but I think that's not the key turn. Normally, I would say that.
I think that's a key moment. That's a key moment.
We go and score what, a minute later?
Well, it's a key moment because we scored 3 goals before half time after that.
slightly disagree because I still think we would have went on and score 2 or 3 regardless if that goes in.
Well, maybe not, but you've got to think at that moment in time, you're 1-0, Champions League is all around everything in terms of Newcastle right now. Your goalkeeper's made a big save in a big moment and it galvanised the crowd.
Unless you're Aston Villa.
I've got to
don't play
turn around now.
Champions League.
Actually, when you said it like that, Johnny, I said it in the stadium and I see it on my match reaction is, after our first goal, I felt like we let off the gas a little bit and then that gets saved. And once that got saved, it felt like a moment where we went, right, lads, you've just nearly let that lead slip away. Let's not let it slip away. Go forward and get another goal in, which is what ends up happening. So I do agree with you to a degree. I think it was quite an important moment forward in the match. It was a moment to go, you know what? We've took a hit. Let's go for it. We can't lose this lead. We need more goals.
Any penalty save is a big key in any match because it is a good turn or goal. But we weren't losing that game today.
No, I don't think
there
we
was
were.
no way we were losing that game.
I don't think we were, but I think it's still a massive moment in the football match because you've got to remember if that does go in, do Newcastle go, ooh, we're gonna crumble? It didn't look like that, but you never know. Football's a funny old game. Lee, 1-0 went into 2-0 very quickly after that penalty save. Yeah, Mark Gay. But fantastic.
Newcastle.
Yeah, but very much so, Lee, in terms of Joelinton playing a lovely through ball. Tino Livramento, lovely pass to Harvey Barnes. Looking for Isak in the middle, but Mark Gay hits off his hand, actually. And
Does it? I didn't know that. I didn't know whether it was his or not, to be fair, because it was a deflection and Gay's like, blooming hell, I love assisted Newcastle here.
That's 2 own goals for Gay this season, but it squims past Dean Henderson and it's 2-0.
And I'm Mark Gay, he's like the 12th top scorer this season. So he's got more goals than Callum Wilson. But we're 2-0 up and great for Harvey Barnes. The lad's on fire. Now he's probably going to have that taken off him, which is harsh. But again, I haven't seen it back. But he puts it away. It's 2-0. How many do you want to go and score?
Yeah, and that is the moment. It's a case of can we capitalise and can we get more goals? And just before the 45 minutes is up, it's 3-0. And Dave, you've got to think, what can Harvey Barnes do? Even more at this moment in time, he can score even more goals. But how much did Sandro Tonali make that pass and made that moment by intercepting the ball and then the pass to Barnes, and Barnes says, "Thank you very much. I'll take on the defender, bury it in the bottom corner." 3-0 Newcastle.
That pass through Tonali was a total wetter. Absolutely, my legs buckled when I seen that. It was a total, just the pace and the placement of it was absolutely just top draw. He had 2 choices to make, and he made the better one out of the 2.
He made the harder one as well.
Yeah, it was because he had a defender on his left-hand side as well, so he had to pass it around the defender. On his outside with his left foot as well, and it was perfect weighted. He couldn't have asked for any more right in front of him when he wanted it. Finished it superbly. But the pass with Tonali was absolutely mouth-dropping.
Yeah.
Absolutely mouth-dropping.
And then we talked about it. Is Tonali the only player that can do that pass? We're talking about Bruno. Is he the only player that can do that sort of pass? We've got options, and you look at Joelinton, the through ball that he did for the second goal. Different types of through balls, and it's carving defences up right now. And Newcastle are just running away with it at 3-0. And Joe, you look at can Newcastle make it forward? All a bit greedy, aren't we? All a bit peckish. And Newcastle get a free kick after Bruno's fouled just before half time, 6.5 minutes into injury time, and it's just a little touch from Trippier. Great ball from Jacob Murphy, another assist for Jacob Murphy. Fabian Schär just glances it past Dean Henderson. 4-0 Newcastle United. That is a statement of the first half.
I noticed you're bringing me with all the Jacob Murphy goal involvements, aren't you?
Not planned.
I'm your biggest fan. I'll follow you until you love me. Jacob Murphy. I do actually like
Pack your bags, Jacob. He wants you to go.
Bye, Jacob. I like you. Can I have a signature on the way out the door? No, do you know how it is? I'd nipped to the loo, and I thought, right, this is it, the half's over, we're going to consolidate this 3-0, we're going to keep it sound, and we're going to go I'm going to go to the loo, and I'm going to come back, and as I was in the loo, I heard a cheer, and
missed
what's
another
going
goal
on. I did, but, however, I did see the goal on the TV in the fire bit, so I comes back in, I see we're setting up for the free kick.
So cute, isn't it?
Brilliantly delivered ball, and the header from Fabian Schär, it's one of those where it's like, wow, what's going to happen in this second half? Could this be 7-0? Could this be another Spurs? You're like, yeah, right, what's going on? It's absolutely fantastic. We played that first half out brilliant. I think there was literally a 10-minute moment after that first goal where we slowed down a little bit. Penalty, gets us back into it. 3, just bang, bang, bang goals, just like that. It's exactly what you want to see in the first half, because essentially it gives you the second half to do exactly what you want to do with it and gives you freedom.
It does. And Lee, you look second half, Jason Turner probably didn't have to say anything apart from just make sure you see the game out professionally. And I think you mentioned in your match reaction, make sure you give that a watch as well. Newcastle made the right substitutions at the right time, but just before Joelinton comes off, nicks the ball off the midfield into the path of Isak, who pretty much hits it first time on the edge of the box and buries it. It's probably the hardest. I would argue it's probably the hardest chance he could have had, because he had another one in the first half where he just couldn't seem to get it past Dean Henderson, where it was just a left foot that hit the side netting. But 5-0, Isak gets his 21st goal of the season in the Premier League. He's absolutely flying, and you can rest him for half an hour against Crystal Palace. This was meant to be a tricky game, but a great finish.
It was a great finish. Do you know what? We've scored, 8 goals prior to his goal in the last 2 games. He would have been furious that he's not on the goal scoring sheet. And we're not over-reliant on Isak. That just shows you now there's goals from Barnes, there's goals here and there from Tonali, there's Murphy chipping in, yada, yada, yada. But it's a good finish. What really surprised me, though, Palace just played exactly the same in the start of the second half. I'm like, if that's my team and I've travelled all the way, I'm sorry, but if we're doing videos on like YouTube, I'm having an effort go at the team, because they just sat back and you're 4-0 down, can win the second half.
Do you know what pulled me about it? And I said this very early on. They were just not focused on Jacob Murphy at all. They seemed to focus all of their defensive attention all on Alexander Isak, which I get it. He's this wonder striker and all that. But like you've just said, you've got Murphy, you've got Bonds getting involved at the minute. And it seemed like them too. One of them at any time was just getting left unmarked. And it even happened throughout just about the whole of the second half.
Triple manning Isak over. That's all they were looking at. Whenever the ball in the box, they were just triple manning him. The 2 central defenders, and then the hold, I think it was Hughes on it, was just dropping in to cover him. So it was just 3 random each time. And why the Crystal Palace fans were booing Hughes in the first half?
Yeah, I noticed that.
I noticed that. We were like, why every time he touched the ball, they were booing. So it was like, that was a bit strange as well, because he's been a good player for them, I think. But
Palace fans,
let me know. Story there somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. But 5-0, last half an hour, it was very, very comfortable indeed. Few substitutions. Joelinton was taken off, so he will be available for the game against Aston Villa, because we got a yellow card. He would have missed Villa and Ipswich, but that is not the case. He will be at Villa Park along with me and Lee on Saturday afternoon. Sam will also be there as well. He'd be sitting next to me. He's a lucky lad. It finished 5-0. Jason Tindall could be manager of the month, and he's doing a stellar job in Eddie Howe's absence again. We hope Eddie Howe has a fantastic recovery very, very soon and back at St James's Park in the near future. But let's hear from Jason Tindall after that 5-0 win.
But the cup final gave us huge confidence. We know that. We went and delivered a great performance in the cup final against the top team of Liverpool. We enjoyed that moment, but we knew it was important that we focused on what our next objective was, and that was to try and win as many games as possible, to finish as high up in the table as possible, because everyone wants to be in the Champions League, and that's our aim. And we know what we have to do to be able to try and deliver that, and that's why I say we've got 6 cup finals now remaining, and we have to go out there and deliver the level of performances that we have done in recent weeks.
When the juice is flowing, as I say, you just got to hit it. And I think because the defenders come out, it was going to be hard to get it through him. So I thought, I'll just shoot here, and lovely. No, it was good. To get the ball rolling for us there. We always knew that the first goal was going to be really important. I'm happy to get it, and happy that we started off so well.
Thanks, Jason. Dave, we'll start with you. Sandro Tonali, discuss.
What can you say? I don't come to a lot of live matches, so we don't see a lot of him. We see what you see on the telly, but when you stood there and you're watching him, he's somewhat different. You cannot. He gets won the match normally when you watch him on the telly, but when you watch him live and the little things he does and just what he does, it's just, he's out of the world. He's just a total different kettle of fish. He's his own thing. You can't put anything on him.
Is he too good for us?
No. How can you say that? How can you say, is he too good for us? So what's too good for us at the moment?
No, but is he?
No, he's what we need. He's not too good for us at all, not at this present moment in time. He's what we need at the moment. We need that little 6. If frees Bruno off, would you be getting the best out of Bruno now if Tonali wasn't in a 6?
Stay.
That's what I look at now, is that, yes, Bruno can do them little through balls that Tonali does, but Bruno doesn't do defensive work like Tonali does. He can't read
Tonali, right? We've got to be a little bit careful that we don't get carried away, but I am starting to get a little bit carried away, because it's now consistently a 9 every week, and it's like, we can't really say how many world-class midfielders are out there, but Tonali, I think he's on the brink.
Do you think
he's on the brink now of being in that bracket of being that top 5 to 10 centre midfielders in world football? He just needs probably another 6 months at this, or another year at this, and he can say, do you know what?
Do you think as well, just to add to that point, his engine, the fact that he can cover...
It's not like 4 lungs.
There's this times there was a moment in the second half where he was tracking the left back in terms of Tyreek Mitchell coming down, and he literally bullied him out of play. And the whole of the corner, the Strawberry corner, just went mental because the work rate. Everyone talks about Newcastle in terms of working class. That is a working class performance, a work rate like that.
Sorry, Johnny. Whatever you see over the last couple of games where we've been afforded to make substitutions in the second half, he's always the one that stays on. No, we'll bring Bruno off, we'll bring Joelinton off. Joelinton's usually the first one to Bruno, but he's always the left one on.
It's interesting to say that because early on the season he wasn't.
I know, he was always
his levels have gone up.
But now he's always on there to finish the game. Regardless of who we're playing is, and regardless of who we make subs for, he's always left on. So that's got to say something about him. It's got to say something. We trust him in there. You can throw Willock on there with him, you can throw Miley on there with him, you can throw Longstaff on there with him. He'll just do what he does. He doesn't mind playing with anybody.
And do you know what's even more impressive is that Italians don't really do well in the Premier League.
Italian managers do well. Mancini,
yeah, but history tells you there hasn't been. You could probably
Ranieri winning
I bet
leagues.
you could name more than 5 Italians that have done well in the Premier League in the last 35 years. There's one.
Ravanelli.
For one season and a half. But, yeah.
Let us know in the comments to Lee's question there. But Joe, I know we've been taking the mick out of Jacob, but this is a serious question. Has Jacob Murphy been Newcastle's best winger this season?
What a hard one now, because I mean, obviously you've got to take Harvey Barnes out of the situation, sadly due to injuries, and realistically the only major contention that Jacob Murphy has against the best winger is Anthony Gordon. Now, the first half of the season, if you asked us that, I would be like, no, not at all. You're asking us at this part of the season, and it's between them two, really, isn't it? Anthony Gordon and Jacob Murphy. I'm just going to have to say Anthony Gordon, just so you don't turn around and say
honest question.
At this current moment, yeah, it's you look at the stats, you can't deny it. It's Jacob Murphy. The precision in his, and this is something, take away the stats, it's a precision in his passes at the moment. Anthony Gordon doesn't quite have that. You know, Anthony Gordon might make 10 great crosses a game, but 5 of them aren't quite on the mark. At the minute, Jacob Murphy's going out there making 7 great crosses, and 6 of them are bang on the mark, and they're leading to either a goal or a deflected shot. You can't type that. You can't put a price on that kind of consistency when it comes to delivering them types of passes, especially with the type of football we're playing at the moment. So yeah, Jacob Murphy at the moment is the best winger, and I think there's an argument to state that quite possibly he's one of, if not the best winger in the Premier League right now as well.
Possibly on form. There's a few people asking for an England call. Who knows? But Lee, just to finish things off in terms of the players before we talk about the Premier League table and Aston Villa on the horizon, I suppose Jason Tyndall, Eddie Howe was making that decision in terms of the rotation. Do you think you make rotation plans for the game against Aston Villa, or do you think, again, a bit like what we said at the start, don't change anything because it's just working? We are the team in form right now.
I thought it might be in the night. I thought it might be 1 or 2 of the neat just to say win Villa, because now we've won the neat. For me, it's not a go and must win anymore. We're ahead of them by
5 points.
5 points, same amount of games. Draw the game. I mean, we're not going to go down there and draw, of course not, but a draw against Villa with 1 game less edging near at 30-year games is not a bad result. I don't think we'll play like that, don't get me wrong, but Villa had a fantastic performance against PSG themselves last night. So it's a great one for the neutral. It's a bit nervy for both sets of fans because Villa will probably need that result.
It's the game of the
us.
weekend, isn't it?
It is. We don't need a win, I don't feel. I think Villa probably need to keep in touch, but we've got that little bit of cushion now, which is brilliant because we're just 5 wins, 6 wins on the spin. I'm losing count now. But not just that, we're scoring. We're not just scoring 1s and 2s. It's now 3s, 4s and 5s. Yes, we're playing bottom half of the Premier League, but you've got to go and beat what's in front of you. We're smashing teams, so it's for ours to lose.
Are you slightly concerned, Dave, that the fact that we're playing so many games in quick succession? I know these are Premier League footballers who are incredibly fit. Aston Villa played a Champions League game, but do you think that it's going to be very, very difficult in terms of maybe maintaining the energy levels?
I don't think so. I think it would have died off already if it had. It's just showing how fit that Eddie makes this team. That's coming out the end of the season and they're playing like that. You know, you expect this end of the season to have games against Crystal Palace at home and it can be a bit, and it's not. No, with the fitness is still there. Showed against Man United on the weekend. The fitness on levels from these lads aren't dropping, and that's down to the training that Eddie Howe's given them over this season. I can't see why we won't stop. Why should we not be going down Villa and giving them a game?
I think we'll certainly give them a game.
Can I put it just dead quickly before we move on? I also think luck needs a little bit of part of it because if you don't have any injuries, that helps.
Yeah, it certainly does. Certainly does. And this is your updated Premier League table. Ta-da!
Oh, it's beautiful. That
it does. Newcastle United are 3rd in the Premier League table. They are 2 points ahead of Nottingham Forest, 4 points ahead of Manchester City, and 5 points in that line, that 5th place line with Aston Villa and Chelsea 6th and 7th. 5 points clear. And Joe, Newcastle Villa is going to be a really difficult game at Villa Park, but you've got that 5-point gap, 6 points to go. I'll be brave and say if Newcastle go to Villa Park and win, it's done for me.
We're on the way to Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Lazio, Roma. We've definitely found the way to the Champions League to finish the iconic chorus off. All we need is literally for it to beat Villa this weekend, and it doesn't matter what happens for the rest of the season. We're in a safe place. But honestly, for me, and I think a few people up there, me and Dave have certainly discussed this, I think Jason Tyndall, because it's looking like chances are he's going to be in charge for the rest of the season, and if he is, I think Jason Tyndall's idea, and maybe it's Eddie Howe's as well, and that's where it's come from, go for that second place spot. And that's a lot of a dream from a lot of us fans, but
why not?
24 points. Only 4 points.
It's not far off, and you've got to start asking the question: is if we finish second place, we qualify for Champions League, and we have won the Carabao Cup, is this the best season that Newcastle United has had on record?
Maybe it already is with a cup win, if I'm being really honest. But Lee, when you look at that table, people will still say it's 3 from 5 for the Champions League, Liverpool and Arsenal. Arsenal were 1-1 against Real Madrid last time I heard, so they're probably going to be in the semi-final. Another couple of games for them to
which is good
worry
for us
about.
because we play them.
Exactly. So they're going to have their minds elsewhere. They know they're not going to win the league. So I suppose from our side of things, do you agree with me? Do you think if Newcastle beat Aston Villa at Villa Park, which is going to be a really difficult task, I'm under no illusion how difficult that's going to be, especially after watching Villa last night against PSG, is that it done? If we could beat Villa?
Almost. I'll say almost, because you can still lose 1 or 2, and then the other teams, I think, as I say, and I'm sounding negative, but I think it's a must not lose rather than a must win now. But if we do win, which we'll go there and play a normal game, we're not going to park the bus or anything like that. I think you're almost there. You've got like a massive creak in the door and it's open, there's a draft coming in. So I think we're almost there, if we win. But I think the draw is not the end of the world.
No, it's definitely not.
And the Arsenal game's a big game.
I actually
I think that might be the game.
Brighton away is another one. Hopefully it's done by then.
Brighton is the one that from the very start.
Yeah, the Arsenal game when they're done. No, they're actually done. To go to Arsenal and still wanting points, I think that could be the crunch.
I think for me at this moment in time, because of how well Villa are playing and the fact that Arsenal have got their minds probably elsewhere in the Champions League, I think this game's probably the toughest one we've got left on paper, in my opinion. Let us know in the comments if you're right, wrong regarding that. But Dave, kick us off, man of the match tonight. Is it an easy one or is it not?
Hard to say. Very hard to say.
Where's that fence? Can we go sit on Johnny's fence?
Yeah.
It is though. I think they all put a shift in to pick one. Even Pope, I think, had his best game in a long time today. If you're to pick one off, then you've Tonali.
Lee?
I'm not saying Trippier before you say it.
He came close.
Yeah, Trippier's brilliant. The last he's undroppable. Trippier, great share score. Do you know what? If it was scoring on 0.5s, which we are doing scoring the players, go check that out. I would just scrape it just to Tonali, just.
Joe.
But there's loads of high 90s
there. Joe?
There's all sorts up there, but I'm going to have to dig my hole even deeper and say player of the match for me was Jacob Murphy.
You're just like the pantomime villain, aren't you? Howard and Johnny, go on then.
It's interesting. So you've got Jacob Murphy, you've got Sandro Tonali and Sandro Tonali over there. Oh, you've got to give it to the midfield maestro, I'm afraid. He's just done enough. Fabian Schär deserves a bit of a mention as well. He's got a fantastic performance today. Jefferson Lerma should have been sent off.
His form is much better. Yeah. Fabian Schär, again, along with Trippier, experience at the back, those two on that little centre back, right back. The last 5-6 games have been brilliant.
Yeah.
What's up with Eddie Howe finding players who get into the peak in the back ends of the career? You know, you've got Dan Burn, who's had a fantastic. Well, you know the general age for footballers and such. You know, Jacob Murphy, 30 years old in a great prime. Kieran Trippier has played fantastic since he's come to Newcastle. You just mentioned in there Fabian Schär again. These players who realistically,
you can put Nick Pope in that.
You can definitely put Nick Pope in that. I think it's fantastic that we've got players who you usually start looking at the ages that they are. Right, they're going to trickle off and they're going to sort of disappear and they're not going to be as good. And at the minute, we're older players are probably our best players on the pitch, barring Sandro and Bruno, I would say. I'm getting into a rabbit hole because yes, I know you could also put Joelinton in, you could put Alexander Isak in, they're all younger players, but you hopefully get what I'm saying. I hope.
Yeah, I'll tell you what,
it's got a good mix.
It's life in the old dog, yes.
Life in the old dog, yes.
Isn't it, Dave?
I'm in favour of that.
I'll tell you what, it's a long way to go to London when you're not very good, eh?
Not when you're shy.
It's worse, it's Croydon, it's further.
What was good today was to finish it out with a clean sheet.
No, there's something better than that.
It got the last 10 minutes of the game and I was thinking, God, because they're pressing. I thought it's going to happen and it didn't. So well done for the clean sheet.
No, there was one thing better than that, better than the clean sheet. was the glad all over right at the end. Big fan of that. Big fan of that shithousery. Oh,
And also, hopefully, they play the right music this weekend as well. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be good. More Conference League at Villa, maybe. Let's see what happens. But yeah, me and Lee and Sam will be at Villa Park on Saturday, 5:30 in the UK, which is going to be a massive, massive game. Newcastle can get another win. Ooh, there'll be a few happy faces down in Aston in the away end on Saturday evening. Big thanks to Dave, big thanks to Lee, big thanks to Joe as well. I'm feeling glad all over because Newcastle United are on the verge of Champions League football. Like and subscribe to Newcastle Fans TV, and we'll see you all very soon.